Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. We are in Sarasota, Florida, on the cultural coast of Florida, which is between Anna Maria and Inglewood. And I'm so happy that you're here with us. I'm Theresa, and boy, it's a privilege and an honor to get to come into your living room or your bedroom or wherever you happen to be right now. So I'm happy that you're here with me in my living room. This is our third Sunday that we have been love streaming. I'm calling it love streaming. And it's our third Sunday. And next week, I'll be counting for a while, but next week is our first anniversary of meeting every Sunday. So yay to us, right? Very excited. We'll celebrate big next week somehow. But I'm so grateful and amazed at the technology that allows us to do this, that allows us to be together and still feel close and intimate and still have a relationship through the means of technology. We are actually live streaming or love streaming this morning on both Facebook and YouTube. And so it's very exciting, very exciting. And we're going to be using some different technologies this morning that you'll see than what we did the last 2 weeks. So we've all been experiencing lots of changes, haven't we? In the last 3 weeks, we've seen daily changes, daily news announcements that can feel shocking and alarming. And I want to talk about that this morning. You know, I don't live alone. I'm married and I have my wonderful husband, Bobby Fieberts. And so I can only imagine what it feels like right now if you live alone. Or if you're over 65, you know, yesterday we got an alert on our phone. If you're over 65, stay home. You know, if you have risk factors, don't go out. Isolate. I can only imagine how scary that is, and to not have somebody right there with you. I mean, I can hug him. I talked to somebody a couple days ago who talked about a loved one of theirs that is isolated, and they're hug deficient, they're touch deficient. So here's my big hug to you this morning. My big hug to you. This week, the news got more personal for me. It moved in closer to me, and maybe it has for you as well. This week, I learned of people either that I directly know or people that know people that I know who have received positive test results on COVID-19. And if you have, I want to know that too. Reach out to us if you're feeling isolated, if you're worried about yourself or a loved one, all of those things. At the end of this morning's program, I'm going to be posting a Zoom link, and that's a room where if you've got a camera on your computer, we can see each other, and so I'm going to post that, and we can literally see each other and have like our coffee time together, right? I've been saying for the last 3 or 4 weeks now that it's really imperative that we recognize where our feet are planted. Where our feet are planted. We have 2 feet planted in 2 worlds, if you will, in 2 realities simultaneously. Left or right foot, whichever one, needs to be firmly planted in our humanity, in the conditions and the circumstances and the experiences that we're having right now, because we're in it, and we're in it together, but we're in it. And so we have feelings and experiences that probably most of us have never had, or they're triggering old ones and magnifying them, but we're in our humanity. And at the same time, we have another foot that is firmly planted in our spiritual truth, in the truth of our being, in our oneness with each other and oneness with the universe, oneness with God, our creator. However you see and choose to name that power and that presence. 1 foot in humanity, 1 foot in spirit. So that's what I'm attempting to do, how I'm attempting to take this walk, this journey with you. And I admit I bounce back and forth. I bounce back and forth. I've had 7 different titles probably for today's talk, about 25 different avenues that I want to take it, and hundreds of things I want to say. Connected and calm, that was one title I threw out there. Certainty in uncertain times, that's another. Going deep into the places that scare you. But here's the winning. Here, drum roll. This is the winning title. Distracted popcorn. Yeah, distracted popcorn. Subtitle, and centered smoothies. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's just take a moment and ground ourselves. Possibly feeling both feet on the floor. Recognizing that I am in this world, but not of this world. That there is a divine presence, the source and substance of life itself, that is here right now, always wherever I find myself. That presence is available and seeking to move in, as, and through me. Because I am that divine incarnation. I am the hands and feet. I am the heart of God itself. Spirit, source, energy. Again, whatever we choose to call this creative presence in life. It is here, it is powerful, and I rely upon it this moment and the next. And with our new technology this morning, I know that it is in the presence of that too. Creating a love stream that is unbroken and heartfelt. and deep and powerful. And so it is.
So it is.
So this morning we have a treat. We've continued with our musicians that were scheduled. And so this morning I'm super excited to introduce you maybe for the first time to Emily Ross. Emily is a local Sarasota-born singer-songwriter. Yay! Yeah. And we are super excited to have her here with us. And Emily is coming to us from her home studio.
Yeah, my home studio.
Technology.
That's right. Yes. Hi. Hi. I feel like we're all in our little cocoons right now. That's what it feels like. And it's definitely an interesting, introspective time. But anyway, my name's Emily. And if you don't know me, yeah, I'm from Sarasota. And I'm so grateful to be able to be doing this right now. I'm overwhelmed by how much gratitude I have for technology right now. But I also am trying to not distract myself, because I think that right now is such a unique time to go inward and to not be distracted, because I think we usually are very, very distracted. And what if we take this time to do things a little bit differently? What if we saw this time as a time to be grateful and a time to just sit and look outside for an hour? Because some of us who can, some of us who do have extra time, a lot of my friends I just see are having so much extra time and they don't know what to do with it, and they find themselves confused and they're like, what do I do with all this extra time? And I'm like, well, what if we just didn't do anything at all? Because isn't that such a beautiful thing that we can do right now? So I have a couple songs. I'm a songwriter, and I have 3 songs I'm going to sing today. I'm really excited about that. And this first one is called On Your Own. And I wrote this one a year ago when I felt very lonely. And I think all of us have a fear of being alone. I think that's a huge one for us. But there's a lot of freedom in being alone too, because that means that you are facing who you are. You're facing yourself. And so the chorus of this song is, you're all alone, but you're not alone. Because a lot of us are alone. We're sitting inside alone right now, but we're all connected because we're all in this together. And the other quote from this song is, only the brave will stop running to be alone. And so here's the song. You come to take it on. No more running scared. The fear is gone. And long-short storms keep raging on to keep you home. How far should you keep traveling on to feel you grow? You are not the same as you once known. Your family starts to go, you're all alone. But now's the time to feel most free, so let it go. 'Cause only the brave will stop running to be alone. On your own, you know you're on your own. On your own, you know you're on your own. You're alone. On your own, you know you're on your own. On your own, you know you're on your own. You're not alone. once known. Your family starts to go all alone. Now's the time to feel most free. So let it go. 'Cause only the brave will stop running to be alone. On your own, you know you're on your own. On your own, you know you're on your own. You're alone. On your own, you know you're on your own. On your own, you know you're on your own. You're not alone. On your own. Alone. On your own. Alone. Finally, you've come to take it on. No more running scared. The fear is gone. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Emily. That was touching, and that's the paradox. You're on your own, but we're all one, and we're all connected. So I have a reading. On Bobby Fieberts. I have a reading for you. This reading is from a book called Help for Today by Ernest Holmes and William Hornaday. Copyright 1958. He's way ahead of us as usual. These are some excerpts from chapter 3, The Contagion of Fear. Fear is more contagious than any virus or disease in the world. Fear is the basic root of most of the illness, misfortune, and conflict in the mind of man. Much is known about the germs of physical disease, but it is only in recent years that science has been speaking of the possibility of what you and I might call a mental fear germ that actually infects people. This deadly fear infection causes plagues of panic, hysteria, anxiety, and mass destruction. Perhaps you yourself have been unconsciously infected by this mental fear germ. One way to find out is to check your inner reactions to remarks such as these. Someone told me that the government will never be able to pay Social Security benefits 5 years from now. The whole plan will collapse. No one can feel secure these days. A depression is sure to come. These are things that people were saying in 1958 when he wrote this book. Let us know that although we may be immersed in such negative thoughts and feelings, it is possible for us to separate ourselves from such mental fear germs. Certainly there is not one of us who desires to participate in such conversation or in such disastrous thoughts and feelings. We know full well the misery such negative thinking causes, emotionally and physically. We live in a constant state of tension and uncertainty. Our faces reveal strain and stress. But let us know that we not only can separate ourselves from this mental germ, but we can immediately take steps that will assist us in immunizing ourselves against the most contagious disease in the world, fear. We are cautious while suffering from a virus infection not to go near the baby or children, and will enter a self-imposed confinement period for the sake of others. Have we ever considered, though, that we can be just as infectious to their well-being by creating an environment that is fearful, insecure, resentful? And have we ever considered that this can happen without any outward display of our inner emotions through word or action? A new road that leads to liberation from fear can be found only by understanding our essential self. We cannot seek and find a mental state of perfection, free from fear, unless we understand ourselves, unless we understand what to do about these inner conflicts that disturb us. We must seek, understand, and know the proper use and control of our emotional stimuli. The subconscious always responds with certainty to the convictions, expectations, and directions of the conscious mind. The conscious mind must match and balance itself with the subconscious at the time the demand is instigated. A creative power for good is available when our conscious and subconscious states of mind are in harmony. We must consciously be aware of our inner disturbances, and which clearly reveal whether we are out of balance or in harmony with the creative law of life. And now a song from Emily. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. That was awesome. So I wrote a song last night. Let's see, it was 11 hours ago. I wrote it at midnight, and I'm gonna sing it because why not? But again, it's about talking about how I feel like something like what Bobby was saying, how there's a lot of news and I feel like all the volume is turned up and the fear, everything's just very turned up right now. And I find myself just wanting to just sit and look outside and just take some time for myself. So that's kind of what this song's about. Feel it all around these days of too much sound. Volumes have turned up again, it's all around, falling down. There is so much time, I think I like to be preoccupied. Oh, how about we sit and look outside for a while? Oh, how about we learn to get along? I've stopped counting the days, it's feeling like a haze. It may not be that long till the world starts turning again, and we start playing pretend, and we'll look back on this time that we were free. So I think that I'll decide I like being inside and thinking about my friends and listening to sounds that I don't like to hear. Oh, how about we sit and look outside for a while? Oh, how about we learn to get along? Oh, why can't we think about this time like we are free? Oh, how about I call you and talk? Oh, how about I call you and talk?
Yes.
Yay. Oh, thank you, Emily. It's so great to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. And that song was perfect. Perfect, obviously, for what I'm going to talk about here. So yeah, I'm spending a little bit of time on social media, and maybe, obviously, you all are right now. But have you seen any of those quizzes? You know, not necessarily right now, but in the past, those Facebook quizzes where they ask you a couple questions, and while they're asking you questions, and they're going to tell you, you know, maybe it's 3 questions, and from those 3 questions, they're going to tell you your true purpose in life, or what your top personality traits are, or what your spirit animal is, or, you know, what if you were a tree, what kind of tree you would be, you know, those kinds of things. Well, I did one the other day that was my COVID-19 name, your COVID-19 name. So I answered the 2 questions, and they were, how are you feeling right now? And what was the last thing that you ate? So those were the questions. And did I tell you that while I was taking that, I was supposed to be doing my sitting meditation? Did I mention that? Yeah, it was first thing in the morning, and I kept going to my phone. I just kept going to my phone, and I just couldn't sit still. I was so distracted. So that was easy. The first question was super easy. While I'm distracted. And what was the last thing I had to eat? Well, I hadn't eaten yet in the morning. So the night before, I had to have popcorn. So I distracted popcorn. So that's where the title of the talk came from this morning. But, you know, had I waited a couple hours to take that test, and I had my meditation time and my prayer time and my bike ride and my breakfast, then I would have been centered smoothie. Yeah, centered smoothie. So I think that's, I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one that is literally like distracted popcorn. One minute I'm feeling this, and the next minute I'm feeling that, and I'm kind of all over the place. And let me just say, I am so grateful for my daily practice. This daily practice that I've had, I'm getting close to 30 years on this, and so I got to tell you, it's like my lifeline right now. Meditation, prayer. And what you learn in meditation is that even if you're distracted, you sit. You sit. Even if you're fearful, you sit. If you're confused, you sit. If you're worried, you sit. If you're sad, you sit. If you're angry, you sit. And here in that sitting, we cultivate a focused awareness to be able to really know what's going on inside of us. And that's so important. It's so important. And I want to talk about that this morning, because we all have distractions, and most of them are self-made. And we want to know what they are and what we're hiding from, because those distractions really are the ways in which we're handling discomfort. Any kind of discomfort, some kind of discomfort. So, you know, we want to become that centered smoothie, right? As often as possible, or, you know, I don't know, still sausage if you, I'm a vegetarian, so, but what you know, whatever for you, you're feeling. I had a therapist once who literally wrote on the outside of my folder. I saw it one time and I asked him about it. He wrote "Woman on the Run." And I said, well, what the heck does that mean? And so he was making a comment to himself about my compulsive busyness, my need to busy myself to avoid feeling, taking the pain away, the attention away from my pain. And at the time, it was pain of loneliness, and I was married. It was pain of loneliness, anger, fear. And so my attention went to external things. And I did a lot of shopping then, and other things that, was distracting. For many people, these distractions become addictions. And so we want to be really careful about it. Work can be an addiction. Again, shopping can be an addiction. Even exercising can be an addiction. Binge watching TV, those kinds of things. It's not just drinking and drugging. That's not the only way that we find ourselves in a state of avoidance and possibly to the degree of an addiction. And so for us busy bees, if you relate to that idea at all, we're used to being out and about and doing things, right? And we can't do that right now. So I have great compassion for those of you that are feeling cabin fever already, that are truly so anxious with being inside. I love to hear that Emily is not in that place, and that she's able to counsel her friends in that way of, hey, let's just be still. Let's sit outside. Let's go within. I mean, there's lots of ways that we can use this time. I told Bobby just a couple days ago that I'd really be okay. I hesitate saying this out loud. That I'd really be okay if this ended up being an isolation, a quarantine, a self-isolation for 2 to 3 months, which it looks like it could be for us. And because I don't mind being at home, I love being at home, and I love being alone, and I love being quiet. I mean, Bobby and I work in separate parts of the house, and even though we're both here, we don't see each other for hours sometimes. So I don't mind that anymore. And that's been a healing journey for me to get to that place. So we want to ask ourselves, though, all of us, I think we can ask ourselves, what do I do, or what do I use as a distraction? How do I avoid my feelings? And then the big question is, what feelings am I avoiding? What am I avoiding feeling? Pema Chodron, who is an American Buddhist nun, has a fabulous book, The Places That Scare You, subtitle, A Guide to Fearlessness in Difficult Times. I truly was led by Spirit this week to pull that book off of the shelf and start reading it. And she talks about a perspective of the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva is the one who does the healing work of bodhicitta. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. This is having an awakening of heart and mind, an awakening to the greatest love and compassion that there is, which is within. It's within each one of us. And in the book, Pema suggests that this opening of ourselves is akin to, or can feel like, the rawness of a broken heart. Now, every one of us have probably felt that, have had a broken heart, right? So we can heal ourselves in a way that is so tender, because there's a tenderness to having a broken heart when we're in a place of compassion. And oftentimes, if we don't look at that and we don't nurture that within ourselves, we develop such a fear of being hurt. And we build defenses and walls, some kind of protective armor, a mask. And so this work requires us to have courage and great love for ourselves, bravery and kindness, a deep, deep compassion for ourselves. And as we do the work, then we get to have that and give that to other people and hold their pain, right? But we start with ourselves. We always start with ourselves. And so I think that we can apply this lesson to what our world is experiencing right now and what we ourselves are experiencing within this pandemic. This is a whole new territory for us. For us personally, it is for the doctors that are at work fast on it. It is for the nurses. It is for everybody involved, for our world leaders, for everyone. And so we can ask, where's the security? Bobby read that reading, and Ernest wrote that decades ago, and people were fearful about Social Security. They're still fearful about Social Security. And now they're really fearful. The news, if you just look at the headlines, people are losing their homes, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their lives. Where's our security? Everything's moving very fast, and it's very unpredictable, right? That's what it feels like. And isn't it true that it's always that way, though? I mean, we never truly can predict our future. We never really know what's going to happen next. But try as we will to control the uncontrollable, we search for security and predictability. We want comfort and safety in our lives. But can we really avoid uncertainty? And do we really want to avoid uncertainty? Isn't that the great mystery of life itself? Eric Butterworth said that we don't just go through life, we grow through life. Let us grow through life. If it's always certain, how can we grow? Where is there for us to grow with it? So we really want to have an understanding then of what we do when we're faced with our feelings of discomfort. Can we sit with our discomfort, without trying to fix it? And I'm not saying that we're not going to be out there in the world doing our good work right now, whatever that is. I'm just saying, can we sit with the feelings? Can we have that time, take that time and sit with our feelings and stay present without judgment, without self-criticism, with great love and compassion, with an interest, with a real interest? Can we do this with all our feelings, with feelings of betrayal or feelings of disapproval, with any discomfort that may arise within us? I found out yesterday, well, not yesterday, I found out days ago that two good friends of mine that were actually practitioner students of mine, that from Ocala, left last Sunday for New York City. And one's a nurse, and she's trained to help, right? And so they went to do their good work. The other is a massage therapist, and she's going to care for the front line. And so she's right there with them. They happen to have been, if you watch the news, they happen to have been at the hospital in New York City where 13 people died in one night. And they said that all hell broke loose there, and it was complete and total chaos. And from my friends, they said it was like a war zone. It was like a war zone, and they didn't have the supplies that they needed, and contamination was assured for many. Can I be with my fear? Can I be with my upset over that? And can I be with my friends? Can I hold their fear and their strong urge and excitement to be there and to do their good work? Can I be in the midst of that, fully present with all the associated feelings? Yes, I can, and so can you. And that commitment that we can make softens us. It softens us. Pema Chodron said, finding the courage to go to the places that scare us cannot happen without compassionate inquiry into the working of our egos, and that we can ask ourselves, what do I do when I feel I can't handle what's going on? What do I do when I feel like I can't handle what's going on around me? Ask yourself that question. And then, where do I look for strength? And in what do I place my trust? Do I place it in the virus? Do I place it in my world leaders? Do I place it in my president? Do I place it in the doctors? Do I place it in that still small voice within me? That place that I can go to at any moment of any time. I invite you this week to witness how you cope, when you feel anxious or depressed or bored or lonely or scared. What do? Do you turn to shopping as I used to? It's easier to do at home. You push a button. Amazon's going to bring it to your door. It's easy to do. Alcohol, sex, work, drugs, food, hours of Facebook, or the news, nonstop news watching. I invite you to reconsider your choices and to consider why you choose them or have been choosing them, and to consider another avenue for finding your strength, real strength. I'm going to repeat part of what Bobby read, that Ernest Holmes quote. We cannot seek and find a mental state of perfection free from fear unless we understand ourselves, unless we understand what we do about these inner conflicts that disturb us. So I'm giving you homework this week to begin the inventory of your fears and anxieties. We all have them, and we're probably don't have our foot in humanity if we're not feeling it right now. This isn't the time for spiritual bypassing, because we have to be alert and aware of our actions and how they can affect other people with a virus going around. We can listen, and I invite you to listen this week to what wants to be known from within you and become aware if and when you're diverting, what you're hiding from. And here's my promise to you. As you do this work this week, I'm here if you want to reach out via email. Tuesday night, we've got our prayer circle, and Rev G is going to host that this week for us. I'm going to be on, and our practitioners will be on, but we're going to have his love and compassion running that circle. And you can bring your process there if you'd like. Thursday night, Julie Birch hosts a meditation where we can sit together in silence and support each other in that way. But I promise to hold the high watch as you do this work this week. I promise to hold the high watch. And next week, our first anniversary of getting to do this, of getting to be together in spiritual community, we have a great treat. We've got Pedro and Zoe that will be with us. And our first Sunday of the month is always a contemplative Sunday. So we will sit together and practice. We will learn some specific practices to move us out of our fears. We need each other's strength right now. I need you to be strong. You need me to be strong. We need each other. Our country needs each other. It needs us all to be strong, to pull together. The world needs us all to be strong and pull together, to recognize our interconnectedness and to move from that place, from that power. We need each other. I love you. And I believe that Emily has another fabulous song for us. Thank you. Thank you, Emily.
I love that you ended with "I love you," because that's the title of my next song.
Well, of course it is.
Of course. Another great talk. I love your talks. They're just so great. And I've been really struggling with that, because it's not about ignoring what's going on and pretending it's not happening and just being happy. It's more, about witnessing to what's real. And something that's really real that's going on right now with me, without saying too much about it, is just one of my friends is going through something that I can't even imagine. And it's pain beyond anything that I've ever witnessed. And what do I do with all the love that I feel for her? And what do I do with all of my fears? And the one thing that I know that helps me is that I try to just send out my love. And I just hold myself with my love, all my love that I have for her and all my love for what she's going through, and just try to picture it all in a white light. And so I wrote this song for her last week. And this one's dedicated to anyone out there who is going through a hard time that we can't even understand. Some of you are going through really, really hard situations right now, and sometimes all you can do is just say, I love you. And that's what this song's about. And so today fell apart. And so today had the roughest start. And so today is way too hard. And so today opens the deepest scar. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And here's the day that you can bear. And here's the day that you're completely aware. The only thing that you can say, the only thing to help the pain go away. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you guys. Thank you for having me today, and hope you all have a great rest of your day.
I don't know if you can see my tears. I hope not. I'm on TV. I love you, Emily. Thank you for bringing your beauty and your talent,
your beauty,
your heart to us like this. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It is our it's our time to support this ministry, and I want to remind you of that. We are continuing to keep our musicians that we're booked through, I think, May, and we're continuing to keep them on and continue to pay them and to support them, and I'm really happy that we get to do that. And we're continuing to tithe in the community and beyond. And I'm happy that we get to continue to do that as well. So I ask you for your support in that. And there will be a link that will pop up here shortly to our PayPal account, also our address if you want to utilize that. I know that a lot of people are fearful about losing their jobs right now, loss of income, the stability of the economy like we just talked about. And I want to read just a very short thing from Ernest Holmes in his book, Can We Talk to God? Can We Talk to God? He says that we are to claim and announce 100 times a day this: good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me. It flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. I know this truth for each one of us, for myself, for each person listening in this moment. I know this truth for our entire world, that there is a good, a prosperity, a health, a wholeness, a perfection. There is an abundance of sources and resources. There is no supply issue. There never has been, there never will be, only a distribution issue. And so I recognize right here, right now, for each and every one of us, that the entire universe is rearranging itself, is orchestrating itself for those resources to be available to everyone as they are needed. Whether we are talking about frontline healthcare workers, or we are talking about our own needs to provide food on our tables. God is all that there is. And there is no shortage of God. There is no shortage of God's resources. So again, I affirm the redistribution, the reorganization, all the crooked places made straight now. This I claim, this I know, this I celebrate. Join me in saying, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, just a few quick things. One quick thing. You saw we had some new technology going on today. Love your feedback on that, as I've been asking the last 2 weeks. And also, if you're a techie kind of person and you know about these things, boy, we'd love to have a phone call with you and find out what you know and see if there's some way that we can even do more with this or make it better in some way. So let us know if that person is you. And I already mentioned Tuesday night prayer circle. Rev G is going to be on sharing with us, and you will see the links for that. And Thursday night meditation with Julie, you'll see links for that. I'm going to post a link now for our Zoom for after this. As soon as we wrap this up, we can come on and see each other on Facebook, face to face, and have our little connection that way as well. And make sure, because we get more bennies, we get more features and benefits if you like our page, like the page, share things, and on YouTube too. If you go on YouTube and subscribe, and it doesn't cost you anything, and there's different levels you can do on there if you want to receive notices from us or not. But you can support us in that way as well. And with that, Bobby has our closing song. So thank you for being with me this morning. I love you.
Thank you, Theresa. First of all, if you're in need of prayer support, Tom and Elaine and I are available. Please email us. Probably the easiest way, but we can, when we do a prayer, we can be on the phone or on the internet or whatever works for you. So if you need support, please ask. If you need support for any reason, please ask. We have a big community of people who want to do good. What else am I supposed to say? Yeah, Zoom's coming right up. Theresa will be hooking us up to that. And let's close with Let It Shine. There's a light at the center of everyone. It can light up the world just like the sun. There's a flame within us that can light our way. It can burn away the darkness of a troubled day. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Wherever you see darkness, you've got to know that the light is within you. Everywhere you go, whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Thanks very much. Thank you, Theresa. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on Zoom in just a minute.